Hey everybody, I'm a Raging Papist here again with Argent Templar, and I thought I'd bring a little Christmas magic to everybody today by having a little reactionary gaming and religious talk with my good buddy here. Argent Templar has his own channel again. I will put a link in the description, but you really need to check him out. He's a good guy. And I'll just say, Argent Templar, how do you feel about Christmas? What are you doing?
My family always has pretty typical. We always have Christmas dinner, normally with our grandparents and our other relatives. We open presents Christmas morning. We have a big breakfast. Fairly normal Christmas stuff. Christmas tends to be pretty depressing though in our family, because it tends to be with when people die. Like my grandfather died. My grandmother had a big heart attack and got dementia. It's that, and I kind of come from an upper middle class family.
Yeah.
And like all upper middle class families, they're like extremely neurotic. And it's kind of like the biggest status signaling time of the year. Just to show how just buying the biggest presents or doing the most decorations, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I can relate to the status signaling a little bit. My family has a 14-foot tree that we put out in our living room. And
is it a real tree or
no? It's a fake tree, but my God, because you have to have the tree. You have to have a tree that fills the space of the room, right? Otherwise, it looks ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So and because our house, is sloped and our living room is in the biggest area of the slope under the roof, you have to have a big enough tree to fill the space. So that means I get to get up on two different ladders and practically swing between them to put the lights up. And
where do you even store something like that?
Well, we take it apart. It's
it
three
comes okay,
pieces.
good. Yeah. In Canada, I don't know what it's like in the States, but we always get a tree, like a real tree.
Oh, that's nice.
I think they're only like $35 this year.
Ah, man, see, that's what I was trying to convince my family to do that instead of just busting out the old, the artificial tree. But we've had it for so many years that it's almost a tradition to use it in itself.
Before we were lazy, we used to like go on because there's Christmas tree farms all over the place, and you go there and you like cut your own tree down.
Wow.
And like drag it through the snow, and then there's like normally a barn with like spiced apple cider and cookies and stuff.
Oh man.
That's kind of what we do up in the land of ice and snow. Although it hasn't snowed yet this year, it's been really warm.
Yeah, it'd be nice to do something like that, but it's tough to do that in the desert,
Yeah, that would be that would be true. At least it's dry there. It's very damp where I live around Toronto. It's murder here in the summer.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing for Christmas?
Oh, we're gonna have a super big party. It's one of the bigger, although it's not the biggest, obviously theological holiday. Easter is the biggest holiday for Catholics.
I'd say it's the biggest cultural holiday, though.
It's certainly the biggest cultural holiday in the West, I think. And so, regardless of how religious a person may be, everyone's going to be coming to the table. I mean, we're going to be having about 15 people at our house, and Christmas morning. We also do things Christmas Eve. I go to church at midnight, and it's going to be a big hectic day with all the amount that we have to do.
Yeah, I'll probably go, I think, at 9:30 because they have a carol service before Mass.
Yeah.
It's always a contentious issue because I'm the only religious person in my family.
Oh, yeah.
So I will occasionally invite my family to go with me, and it's just always really awkward. Partially because my mother just really hates Catholics.
Oh,
so,
really?
She's like, she was like today, she's like, I'll go if there's no liturgy and it's just carols.
Oh,
like,
so you want a theater show?
And I'm like, Mom, I don't think you'd like to come. I mean, generally speaking, we do sing Silent Night as like one of the hymns during the service, I think.
Yeah.
I know it's in our book. But yeah, so I'll probably go then. Christmas is it's become better actually since I became a Christian.
Mhm.
I guess it's nice to have a religious meaning to it, because it can often be a really depressing time. Like, I know it's a joyous time of year, but it's often kind of a time of year when people are like reflect on kind of family members they've lost or friends who have kind of vanished,
Mm.
or just stuff like that. It's a bit like your birthday. I mean, it can be very happy, but it can also be very kind of like
Bittersweet.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, bittersweet. Also, it's just the dead of winter, and up here it's probably sunnier where you live, but a lot of people here just get seasonal affective disorder,
Yeah.
and just the lack of sunlight really kind of.
Wow. Yeah, I like to keep Christmas as the uplifting family time. I feel like we need more holidays that are about that really emphasize community and coming together. You know, just
Well, just on that topic, to get kind of political for a minute,
yeah,
it was funny when I read about like the big like liberal Republican revolutions, because part of those tends to be they abolish all like the saints days and the feast days,
right.
and that means like that they like dramatically reduce the number of holidays that people get.
Yeah,
I think during the French Revolution they got rid of all the holy days, so like no one had any time off work anymore.
they make their own people depressed. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just funny because you have like this revolution for the people, and part of that means the people don't get vacations.
Well, and amidst the liberal revolutions, I know that on some of the East Coast states that are far more liberal, they've they have voted in liberal people who then abolish, like, you can't have the Christmas tree in the center of town. You
Mhm.
can't have. I know. I think that was a big thing in Maine a couple years back. But people start talking about the war on Christmas and the war on this and that. And let me sum up real quick here just what the war on Christmas is, okay? Because no one is, as far as I understand, no one's concerned about we're not going to be celebrating Christmas anymore. December
Right.
25th is always going to be Christmas Day. Now,
Mhm.
but where the war on Christmas comes in is, well, let's not call it Christmas. We don't want to have any religious connotation with it. We're a secular people, right? So it'll be the festive day. It'll be Xmas. It'll be all these things. So what is consciously, purposefully being whittled down is the religious nature itself of the holiday.
Of course,
That is the word.
are you aware of the irony of calling it Xmas as a secular name?
Go ahead and enlighten me.
X is the Labarum or the Cairo,
Okay, yeah,
because X is Chi, so Christmas, so Xmas is Christmas,
yeah,
Christ Mass, because X, the X is the first letter of Christ's name in Greek.
yeah.
So Xmas actually is a religious term.
Beautiful.
They just don't. They just aren't really like educated enough to know that.
Well, it's like the European Union glorifying itself as the secular progressive state that it is. And what is their flag? That's the crown of Mary. All
Yeah,
those stars. I'm like, that's beautiful, beautiful. Just kidding. Just
and I think "Ode to Joy" is their anthem.
yeah.
But no, I like Christmas. I have a lot of, I guess, just transitioning to our main topic. I
Yeah.
think my fondest Christmas memory was getting my GameCube.
Oh yeah, the cube.
Yeah, when I got my GameCube, so it came with Metroid Prime,
Oh,
and
classic.
it was like the first kind of like modern video game I'd had. And I
Yeah.
just plugged in, and Metroid Prime still looks good. I mean, they really did a good job on the graphics and that. I just played it, and I was just like, wow.
Right. Yeah. And that was also one of the. I think Samus was a fantastic female character for her day.
Mhm.
If you want to get into the whole feminism thing, we don't have to. But as soon as you say Samus, that's what pops into my head because of all the GamerGate stuff and all of the oh, it's a female in gamer. We need to
I mean, you got like a super hot blonde chick blowing up aliens with laser cannons and missiles.
what's not
It
to like?
like it doesn't get any better than that.
Oh man.
I also like the thing is, if it's not like explicitly political, it bothers me a lot less.
Mhm.
Because I don't really like the idea of women serving in the army, like in combat roles.
Yeah.
If it's just in like some fictional thing and it's not like clearly a political statement, like I don't think Samus was meant to be a political statement.
No,
I
no.
think it was just kind of to be kind of like a kind of a cool little surprise or a twist or something.
I think Samus was meant to be a fantasy. It's
Yeah.
a video game. Yeah.
So that doesn't really bother me.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I,
what other kind of red pill games do you think are out there? You know, going off the Samus topic because
yeah,
it's
that's a good topic. I actually had wanted to do a podcast with you or maybe some. There's a group on Facebook of like Catholics, and most of them play video games too. On like video games and religion, video games and politics. I actually think the first Dragon Age was fairly red pill.
I agree. Yes.
I think it was one of the, as I think I said another time when I was on with you, I think it's one of the few like fair portrayals of Catholicism in a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the Chantry is, I mean, they have some issues. There's some corruption, but broadly speaking, most of the people you meet just want to like do good.
Yeah.
Like they just want to serve the maker and they want to like help people. And the kind of the corrupt people are kind of the exception rather than the rule.
Mm.
Did you have some thoughts on?
I agree with you about Dragon Age Origins, but the most red pill game that I have played in recent memory is now one of my all-time favorites is Witcher 3.
Really, I tried playing Witcher 2 and it just seemed like a social justice game.
I've never played 2, but let me put that that fear to bed right now about Witcher 3. It is. Right. I thought it was a masterpiece of red pill gaming. They don't. Let me tell you why. I think I was going to do a sort of a rumination or review of the whole story a long time ago, but I never got around to it, and I'm probably not going to do it honestly now. But essentially, the thing that I like about it is that all the people, the villains, and the people that hate each other within the game, because they tried to make a realistic political world. Right. The people that don't like each other hate each other for realistic reasons, right? Like right. The racism in the game is really actually racist. It's not the way it is in Dragon Age currently, which is the, someone's being mean to us. They're not killing us, but they're being mean to us because we're elves. So, we're gonna leave.
Like how we're supposed to sympathize with the Kunari for some reason.
Yeah, who are the Muslims of their universe? Yeah.
Well, no, I mean who basically like invaded the continent and just started laying waste to everything.
Right. No, everyone's an empathetic figure, Yeah. And like when people hate each other based upon on the religious values and who is right in The Witcher. And it's all the things that you would expect. These are the things that people actually hate each other and fight each other about. It's realistic. It's a real world,
What is the human religion in it?
The human religion is sort of it's a take on Catholicism. It's probably a mixture of Catholicism mixed with Zoroastrianism to give it flavor. Which right. is because you have to do that. So it's like the sacred, the eternal fire, the Church of the Eternal Fire, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is the predominant human religion in Witcher 3, as far as I know. They have their nightly orders. They have all the things that you would expect of Christianity, Catholicism in the Middle Ages.
So basically their belief is so that they have some theology about like a great other or a like universal evil or something?
Something like that. There wasn't too much specific theology that the game delved into because again, actually Dragon Age Origins I think had more. But what they really wanted was the structure. Right. The grand cathedrals, you have monks, priests, bishops, so that it's immediately recognizable,
Right.
But yeah,
Why do sorry, so you said there's reasons. Why do humans hate elves so much?
they mostly see them as a stereotypical degenerate peoples. Um, I never played Witchers 1 and 2.
Because
So
in two it just kind of felt like they just hated elves because they were like white people or something. And again,
yeah,
I didn't get very far in it.
I think that's probably similar in Witcher 3. Same with dwarves. But I just felt like the stereotypes that they play off of I don't like these people because they are other, because they are different, because they are. I didn't find any social justice pandering at all because Geralt never says or does anything. There's no moral condemnation of their actions that the
Right.
player is forced to do, which in Dragon Age you are forced to do to morally condemn the person that says I don't like gay people because
Mm-hmm.
it's because and here's the thing in the entirety of Witcher 3, I found one quest with a gay guy. And on
Right.
top of that, it wasn't in your face. You only find out his secret if you investigate. You know,
Right.
you don't even have to. You can just walk up to the guy and say, "Hey, tell me where the next quest is." You know, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" So to not have that in your face pandering and in your face pushing of a message was just a beautiful thing.
I know, because I don't know. I read a lot of stuff I probably shouldn't. Like, I actually occasionally read teen fiction.
Oh dear.
So I'm reading the Throne of Glass books,
Hmm.
and I actually was kind of liking them. But in the third book, they just randomly throw in like an aggressively gay character, and he's like, apparently the fairies in this universe have gay marriage, and it's just like
That's beautiful. Yeah.
accepted. And even though it's a medieval setting, no one finds it odd.
Yeah, no one cares. Yeah.
It's just, you know what it is. It's like I said. It's not even the like the opinion per se. It's kind of the historical revisionism.
Yeah.
Like to just pretend that was just normal, and that's kind of like what happened with getting to that bombshell Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh God, yeah.
Did you ever play it?
Yeah, I actually on my channel I did a review. It was one of my first videos. I
Okay,
was
I need to
so
go back
enraged
now.
about Inquisition that I had to immediately compare it to The Witcher and lament and rant and talk about all kinds of crap. You know. Uh,
I think the biggest problem, firstly, was just that it sucked.
yeah.
Like no, I mean like there's all the other stuff, but it just as a game, I didn't find it fun.
Well, as a game, it was not the game that was promised. Watch the trailers for what was coming out, and then play the game and tell me it matched up. Tell me the tone matched up. Tell me the actions that you see. Like you don't lead the Inquisition. There's nothing going on here. Like
I was just talking about the boring like fetch quests. 'Cause the whole
yeah.
game's just fetched quests.
Well, it's an MMO for single players. Is all it
Yeah,
is.
but but as I said, that's not like what the other Dragon Age games were like. They
Not at
completely
all.
changed gameplay.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like before we even get the political stuff, as a game, because
Right.
like there's movies I disagree with, like Avatar V for Vendetta,
Right.
but I still think they're good movies. Like I think they were they were entertaining and they kind of succeeded as movies, even if I disagree with them.
Yeah.
Like Michael Moore, I might disagree with what he said, but he is a talented filmmaker in my opinion. I just don't think Dragon Age Inquisition even like succeeded at all. It's just a video game.
I agree. I agree, and I think it's for multiple reasons. But besides the political, because this was, as far as I know, BioWare has done a massive internal shift, and so they've gotten rid of most of the people from their old company. They're gone now.
They used to be, I thought, pretty right wing.
Yeah, they at the very least they condoned it, and those were under the doctors, the two CEOs.
Right.
But when the two CEOs left, the cap came off because they kept a lid on it, and their most vocal liberal people then rose to being the leaders of the company now. So you have like David Gator as lead writer. David Gator was never allowed to be anything other than a character writer during Baldur's Gate and some of their early games. specifically because he always has a message to push, and it's generally like a pro gay, pro kind of that kind of thing.
Is that what happened with Jade Empire? Because
Jade
Jade
Empire,
Empire really, or was that just generic? They just allowed anyone to be with anyone because they were lazy.
it might have been lazy. I thought Jade Empire was a step down from KOTOR.
Yeah, I
I,
still thought it was pretty fun though.
yeah, it was a fine game. I just thought that in terms of writing and
Yeah, the
how
writing wasn't
long the
great.
game is, like it's really not a long game. I mean, play KOTOR and then play Jade Empire, and it's like, wow, this isn't as long as KOTOR. This was, and with the plot line revolved around essentially the same trick, a similar trick to that used in KOTOR. So I felt that they were really just trying to repeat the success of KOTOR with Jade Empire, personally.
Right, although I did think they did a good job on like the world.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
making China. I'm just thinking because that was kind of like that was something from early BioWare, but every character was bisexual, if I recall.
Right. Right. It was never an issue. The idea was that you can romance who you want. It's completely up to the player. But here's the thing. Although most people were all bisexual, they were never labeled or classified as such. It was
Right,
it was just listed as romance. You can romance who you want whenever for whatever, until BioWare was absorbed into EA
right,
and the doctors left, and then it became about representation. Then it
right.
became about pushing a message.
I actually found the first two Mass Effect games pretty right wing.
Mhm.
Because in general, like the alien species tend to be hated for a reason.
Yeah.
Like the Bacterians are just kind of like scumbags.
Right.
The Turians are super arrogant. The Asari are kind of degenerate.
Mhm.
And like most of the time, people hate other species. There's like a legitimate reason for it. It's
Right.
not really shown to be just kind of some irrational thing. Like Renegade isn't really evil, I think, at all. It's just kind of like we're gonna put humanity first.
Right, which would be generally a message that I kind of agree with.
Make humanity great again. Play Renegade.
You get Trump in space.
That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, no, but that was kind of one of the great disappointments.
Yeah.
Was Mass Effect 3 was like one of the most disappointing things I've ever played. I never actually finished it. I just thought the gameplay wasn't very good.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the best way to do it. Don't bother watching the ending. Even with the extended cut, don't. It's just
So was that because EA rushed it?
uh, I don't know if it was because of rushing, but it was a conscious decision made by the
Or
writer.
I just mean the general low, like downgrading quality compared to 1 and 2.
Now, quality in terms of what? What are you speaking to?
Just gameplay, writing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know
I
it
don't
just
know.
felt less finished. I guess
Yeah.
not hard to describe exactly.
All I know about the ending of the game is that, and you can see this as you go from planet to planet doing the various quests, essentially,
Mhm.
because you can tell that certain writers handled certain planets and certain characters, and frankly, they never got together. You can tell this because the tone radically shifts
Right.
from planet to planet until finally you get to the ending, and the ending comes so far out of left field. And it's like, well, where was the editing? Where was the governing body of writers that said this is what we want to have? They didn't have that at all. It was Casey Hudson and the lead writer. They cut out all the other writers and said we need to tack on an ending to this game right now. And so
You're right. That's
yeah,
probably partially my issue. Is
yeah,
it just seemed to switch in terms of tone and narrative style,
right,
like rapid. Like the beginning had a very like cinematic movie style,
mm,
like style, and then it just kind of kept. I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's just a very strange product.
yeah,
Um, I will give it credit though. It wasn't as bad as Inquisition. It was nowhere as bad as Inquisition.
yeah,
Um, Inquisition literally just seemed to be like a homosexuality simulator. Like that literally like was what it seemed to be because they didn't really seem to give a shit about Actually, just a side note, do you notice in a lot of games now they make the homosexual romance options better than the heterosexual ones?
I don't know about that because
Or I don't
I
know,
guess
just the character is more likable or
I will agree. I thought Dorian was one of the most likable characters in Dragon Age Inquisition.
I think I wrote
I said
against
that during.
whatever the Italian girl is. I forget her name.
Oh, oh, she walks around with a
Clipboard.
clipboard with a candle on it, which
Yeah.
always bugged me.
Hmm.
But yeah, what's her name? God Almighty, Josephine. It was
Yeah.
Josephine, I think. Yeah, yeah. I sat down and tried to play it again, and I'm just like, I just
I just
can't.
got bored.
Yeah, it's very boring, and the writing is really not good. The motivations for the villains is all over the
What
place.
is isn't he like some like Nazi nationalist or something?
Well, essentially, yeah, he's super egotistical, and he just wants to come in a nihilist. He says like, I have searched the heavens, I could not find God, so I will become God. And so he's literally trying to just become a deity and take control of the planet to like to re-raise Tevinter, to make Tevinter the empire that it should have been, that it once was, and
Right.
Tevinter is the Roman Empire essentially
Yeah.
of this world.
Hmm.
And I almost felt like he wants to become a god because his heart was broken because he couldn't find God, and that's really what it is. And I'm just like, this villain is just so shit.
You know what would be good is why couldn't they just have it that the Kunari were winning the war and he sought power by any means to save Deventer and he kind of went too far in that quest.
Well, the next game is going to take place in Tevinter.
Really? Okay, I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah,
Oh wait, no, because then it'll be like Assassin's Creed, whatchamacallit, where your only option is to kill the heir to the Byzantine Empire. And the Ottomans are the good guys. Yeah, Revelations, where you have to kill the heir to the Byzantine Empire.
oh God Almighty.
Because the Ottomans are the good guys.
Right. Well, see, and this was Dragon Age Origins was was made when BioWare, they were not. I don't think they were ever red pilled, but they condoned conservative thought, and when they made the world of Dragon, when they made Thedas, the writing was on the wall. We knew about the French, the English. We knew the Canary were the Muslims. We knew they were attacking Tevinter, which was the old Roman Empire, which has now become the Byzantines. And so it's funny because I was on the forums arguing with people because I'm like, if you don't see where the story is going, you're extremely foolish. Tevinter has to fall because it fell historically.
Right.
The Kunari are going to conquer Tevinter. They have to, like because they are modeling their entire world based off of medieval Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So, as is most fantasy tends to do that, I find they just say, let's take medieval
What is
Europe.
the Canary religion?
Uh,
Because I know it's very much. It kind of feels like don't they have like a caste system and like
right. It was extremely extremely rigid, and in Origins and in 2, there were some definite Islamic vibes. Especially in number 1, frankly,
don't they
where
not believe in any deities? Because I just find it very ambiguous.
they believe in the Kun. So the Kun is the ultimate sort of philosophy for liberation.
Is that kind
For
of like Dharma?
I don't know. That makes it sound Eastern.
Yeah, it kind of seems like they switch from Islam to Buddhism. Buddhism is kind of the Canary idea.
So maybe it's an amalgamation of all things foreign. All things sort of.
It kind of has like particularly in the later 2 games like a Buddhist Islamic vibe.
Right.
But no, because they laugh at the maker.
Yeah.
Which I find weird.
Well, yeah, that would be. it's hard to call it Islamic if they don't think that there's one God.
Right.
So
I think that's just for political reasons they can't say that, but
yeah.
it's like I'm not saying it's Islamic. I'm just saying it's Islamic.
Well, and if you remember in the early games, they really had a thing against women. Like women, like you have your role in society, and females do this. Females act this way. They operate this way. But now it's revealed in Inquisition that actually we are run by a matriarchy. That's what's in charge of the Kunari.
Well, that's good then. They'll be easy to defeat.
maybe Tevinter can actually win now.
No, because like historically, the few matriarchies that did exist got completely wrecked.
Yeah.
By like patriarchal states, just because matriarchies aren't very good at war normally.
Yeah.
But no, and that's something I've noticed increasingly. They won't even air certain opinions by villains.
Yeah.
Like being anti-gay is not even something that can be aired by a villain anymore.
Right.
Or racism can't even be said by a villain anymore because it's that taboo that it can't even like. Or it could just be that they think people might relate too much to the villain, and then they might like.
Well, and then the whole point is wrong because they're trying to say that this guy is bad. You're supposed to be against this guy.
Have you seen the new Star Wars movie?
I did.
And
I think I commented on your. I think I commented on one of your videos for it. Essentially, I'm up in the air. I think the writing was atrocious, but I'm kind of with. Do you watch Razor Fist?
No.
Razor Fist, I think, gave a pretty good rundown of the film. It's a fine popcorn movie because you shouldn't really expect too much from the Star Wars franchise. But at the same time, the writings was particularly bad, especially with the motivations of Finn. I think, as you said in your video, he has no discipline. He's not a soldier. There's nothing about him that says soldier. And then,
I don't understand why he betrayed the Empire.
Well, I'm like, I could see, okay, if this is his first battle, I'm assuming this is his first battle, right?
I think they said that, yeah.
So okay, so I would expect there would be some shock, but the idea of, oh, this is so wrong, this is so bad, his character would have no compass in which to make that.
If he was a conscript or something like that, or even if he was an enlisted man, that would make sense because he grew up away from war.
Yeah.
But he was basically raised in a totalitarian environment to be a soldier.
Right. So that's the thing. So if all of a sudden, even if he the horror of war shocks him, which was what they were going for, he would not have the moral compass to reject it because his entire life he has been raised with, this is how you live, this is how you operate. So
well, he didn't seem to be capable of operating it.
No. Whoops! Seem to have lost Templar here. But yeah, I'll try to cut down on the spoilers for games and movies if I can get them back. I'll wait around for a minute or two. Well, I suppose I can transition here and.
Sorry, internet hiccup.
He's back.
Sorry, internet hiccup.
No problem. Welcome back, sir. So yeah, the character was. It just shows the lack of thought in the writing for the characters, and I have to say, I'm going to try and avoid spoilers for the movie and spoilers for major games because I know that a lot of people still want to see Star Wars. But what was the girl's main name? Rey. I'll just say, without getting into too heavy spoiler territory, her character, I've heard her called a Mary Sue. But I don't know if she's really a Mary Sue.
She's too bland to be a Mary Sue.
Well, she's infallible. She's absolutely infallible. She when she tries the Force, which up until this point she has only heard of, boom, automatic success. When she picks up a weapon that she should have no business knowing how to use or how to fight with, she beats a person who is trained in such combat. She fixes the Millennium Falcon.
Her beating Kylo Ren was sorry, spoiler.
Yeah,
Well,
try
her
to.
doing well in a fight with Kylo Ren was bullshit.
Yeah. It had no place. That should have been impossible. And then like her fixing the Millennium Falcon when the whole running gag of all three movies was that Han Solo, it has multiple AIs in the ship and they're all fighting with each other and all this, and then she says, I bypassed it. I bypassed the problem. And I'm like, so you're an elite pilot. You can fix the Falcon. You can use martial weapons you shouldn't know how to use, and you can use the Force in the face of people that should be dominating you with it.
How awkward was Han Solo showing up, just in the movie in general?
It was done for pure nostalgia factor. Just we're gonna.
I just found it really awkward. Not as awkward as Carrie Fisher, though.
Okay, yes. I'm surprised that no one mentioned this yet. And in the reviews that I've watched, no one's mentioned it yet. I thought Carrie Fisher's performance was pretty bad. Like,
she just looks terrible, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if the way that she speaks is because of her age, or what. But I thought she was really bad. Like, I am not feeling the Princess Leia vibes.
Okay, we're gonna play a little game. Could you explain to me what the First Order is? Go.
Nazis in space.
Okay, I mean, like, where did they come from?
I'm assuming they're an Imperial remnants. That's,
I know, but like, here's my issue, and this was kind of my big thing with the movie. I assume you know a little bit about the extended universe.
Very, very little bit.
Okay, because you're referring to it as an Imperial remnant, kind of
Right.
Almost indicates that to me. If you had no idea about that, I think, like, even if you haven't seen the movies a couple of years, I would find this film very hard to follow.
Yeah.
Just because there's a lot of like assumptions that they made, like they didn't really explain stuff. I think my biggest issue, and I know I keep complaining about this, is how does the First Order succeed the New Order? I mean, numerically, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, shouldn't it be the First Order and then the New Order? Also, I mean, but I can accept that. Okay, maybe I'm nitpicking a little. That it's called the First Order. Okay, it's pretty clear that they're a successor to the Empire. Yeah. So who the hell's the Resistance?
Well, right. Yeah. What do you So this is a bunch of. Okay, they did mention it was a throwaway line because, as you're saying, it made no sense. But essentially, so you have the New Republic. They have.
I guess that wasn't really established very well.
No, yeah, it was one line. So you have the New Republic, but they are tacitly supporting. They are tacitly supporting these rebels.
Terrorist group.
Yeah, the rebels. So they're supporting these terrorists who are now fighting these other Imperial terrorists. But that's the thing. It's like, even of the remnant factions, the Imperial remnant factions, these are one guys who are not being bolstered or backed by any other Imperial faction. So it's like, well, what's the point here? I'm like, this is a very small encounter, but they somehow managed to build a bigger Death Star.
Why? I just don't understand the decisions made. Why couldn't they just be the New Republic military?
I don't know.
Like, why did we have to have some group called the Resistance? Why do they have to be like? Because I don't know. Like, it's just. I guess for me, like, it's just I don't understand the thought process.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if they had tested this before a focus group, they'd just be like, why don't you just have the New Republic Army? Why can't they just be like, I don't know, like the Special Forces of the New Republic?
Right.
Because it seemed to imply to me that the New Republic had a peace treaty with the First Order.
Okay.
I think, and then that they were funding like a secret rebel group to continue the war.
Well, yeah, I know that they were funding the rebels, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why.
It's no, it's like I don't expect it to be like written by like someone with a PhD in political science. I just kind of feel like with a couple like one lines, they probably could have fixed this.
Right.
Like if they had just done some minor rewrites. Which brings me to my other thing. I think the title crawl was pretty bad.
The title crawl was bad.
Yeah, like I think they could have like because normally it's to set up the premise.
Right.
So I was like mentally writing one. I'm like, in the 30 years since the end of the Galactic Civil War, conflict has continued to range between the newly revived Republic and a resurgent empire under the governance of the sinister First Order.
Okay.
Amidst this continual warfare, Jedi Master Luke has or just something. Like I kind of feel like they needed like just a line or two to summarize what had happened.
Yeah, that's already better. That's already better than what they got.
It's just like there's that, and I guess my other issue was just, do we really have to? I kept groaning throughout the movie. So like, do we really have to rely on the original trilogy for every scene of this movie?
Oh yeah, there were so many. There were too many nostalgia pangs.
It felt like it kind of felt like the director was smugly saying, "This is Star Wars."
Right.
You remember you're watching a Star Wars movie?
It was a Star Wars, yeah.
And I'm actually maybe weird because I actually kind of like the prequels. Like I don't think they're great. Well, no, I like Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith is probably my favorite Star Wars movie. But the other two I don't think were that bad. I mean, they were bad. This one kind of made me appreciate them more. Because I feel like even if they didn't always do the best writing or they miscast some people, they tried to do something new and different.
Huh.
Like the plot was a lot different. Like in the prequels, because you had like the Republic, and the Republic was very morally ambiguous.
Right.
Because it was corrupt, it was incompetent. Palpatine was shown to be somewhat sympathetic. The Jedi was shown to kind of be uncaring. The Separatists were kind of the designated bad guys, but then in like Revenge of the Sith, you find out, oh, they actually were completely like misled, and
right.
it kind of like you kind of had a level of kind of moral ambiguity and complexity that you don't have in a movie like this.
Well, see, that's the thing. If you're going to make a movie, if you're going to have a moral to the story be black and white, you have to make it black and white. The villains have to be actually bad, and the heroes have to be actually heroic. And if you don't want to do that, if you want things to be gray, then you have to show the good and the bad in both sides, so that the viewer can make make their own judgment.
And this is kind of an ongoing issue I have, where I haven't come up with I call it the alignment contrived evil, where the villain isn't evil because of their ideology, their goals, their personality. They're just evil because they're like a random sadist.
Yeah,
which I kind of found in like Harry Potter. That happens a lot, where why are the purebloods evil? Because they torture and kill random people.
Right.
Is there actual ideology bad? Well, we don't explore that. They're just the designated bad guys, and they do designated bad guy stuff. At least like you can say with the original Empire, okay, they had an ideology of human supremacy.
Yeah.
That is like that rationally leads to things like I guess enslaving the Wookiees, but a lot of the stuff they like do in Harry Potter is just like sadistic bad guy stuff.
Right. Well, and that was the thing that I noticed with I just call them Nazis in space because the First Order is just they're just
literally
Nazis
have
in space.
like they have a Nuremberg rally.
Yeah, I know, and I'm like, okay, I get that they're trying to play up the fascistic nature, right? It's like, oh, they look at the banners they have, look at the military march they have, and then you have a guy screaming something about something he's evil. We know he's evil. Why? Because he wears black and he's angry, and then they okay, this cannot be the case. I refuse to believe this, but. Did they blow up Coruscant? They couldn't have blown. That wasn't Coruscant.
They
right?
don't and that's just kind of how lazy the writing is. Like we blew up the New Republic capital. Like, what's the New Republic capital? Just say Coruscant. Like,
well, wait a minute. Did they say that they're blowing up the New Republic capital?
Yeah, they blew up the Republic capital and the entire New Republic fleet.
Good Lord, you just destroyed Star Wars. Like, you can't not have Coruscant.
Well, I don't get why the Empire would destroy the place they want to retake and make their capital.
Oh God.
Like, no, but like, you see what I mean? Like, it's confusing.
Right.
Like, because they don't say we're gonna we destroyed Coruscant, because this movie's kind of like that stripped down. It kind of treats you like a moron, but the problem with it treating you like a moron is it makes itself more confusing.
Yeah.
Because you have these like these basic things that are left completely to the imagination. But yeah, apparently they destroyed the entire New Republic fleet in one shot.
I missed that. Yeah, I missed that entirely. I just remember that they fire the gun, and it's like, yeah, we're really, really angry, and we're going to teach them all a lesson.
Something.
Oh man. Oh God. No, I refuse to believe it. That there's no way that they can. No, it's probably a planet that looked like Coruscant. It's another big city planet, but I refuse to believe that that's the real thing.
And could they really not come up with anything better than another Death Star?
Apparently not. Apparently
I mean, because the books have all kinds of like interesting super weapons they could have used.
Right.
Like there's the Galaxy gun, which is kind of like this, but it was a missile. Like it fired warp speed missiles.
Right.
And that, like, they could have just done that. We didn't need another like Death Star.
Well, and I thought it was funny because as soon as I saw the poster for the film, that's why I said, oh my God, it's another Death Star. And I thought it was really funny that Han Solo in the movie himself says, so it's a bigger Death Star. Like, I'm like, yeah, that's what you're going with. It's a bigger Death Star. Okay.
Okay, just one last thing on this topic. What the hell is up with Snoke?
Isn't he like a Lord of the Rings character? Like
why is Snooky from whatchamacallit, from the Jersey Shore in a Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought it was really funny. Razor Fist called him it's Darth Smeagol. Emperor Smeagol is the
No, he's the supreme leader because we can't call him an emperor, we can't call him a Darth.
Right. It's just
I remember there was this scene where they're like, Kylo Ren was seduced by Snoke, and I just burst out laughing.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
Like think of the cool names Sith had: Darth Nihilus, Darth Tyrannus, Darth Malak, Darth Revan. Emperor. What's Palpatine's first name? Actually, I have no idea.
I know
Luke
that
Skywalker's a good name. Han Solo's a good name, and then we have Snoke.
Snoke, yeah.
And we don't know anything about him either.
Right.
Is he even a human?
No, he's
Sheev. Okay, Sheev Palpatine. Okay.
Some kind of alien. Snoke is like some kind of alien. I am surprised though that we actually have an alien for a villain. I didn't think they'd be able to swing that.
But I don't get. Isn't the Empire's entire thing that they're human supremacists?
Correct. And in this Star Wars iteration, there is no black and white. These guys are human supremacist, human supremacist, as Ramsey Paul likes to say. Just they're moronic. They're totalitarian. It's just lump together a bunch of generic terms for everything that the West considers evil currently, and say that is what the First Order is.
Well, then why do they practice affirmative action and have like female soldiers?
That's a good question. Why would you allow women into the ranks?
I have to say, I felt really bad for Gwendolyn Christie, because I do like her a lot on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I felt it was a disservice that they like just gave her such a like little screen time.
Oh yeah, what a shitty way to use the character. Especially in the beginning, they portrayed her as a super badass. She's like, and that she has earned this rank, and then and then they shit on that character so hard.
I don't see why that you couldn't have a scene where she just kicked like a bunch of people's asses or something.
I don't know why, because they relegated her to joke status, and when you relegate a villain to joke status, the audience, no one's going to take them seriously. They have no reason to.
I mean, it's kind of funny when like Boba Fett was like that, but I don't know. I just like they had one of my issues is I just really dislike dishonesty, and they had her on like all the posters for the movie.
Right.
So they had her on all the posters. They have like the Captain Phasmus or whatever action figures, and she's in the film for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, and then she makes a fool of herself.
And then she also no, that's a spoil. She kind of caves in very easily. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, too easily.
Like, I don't get it. I kind of thought she'd be the kind of person who would die.
Right.
Or try to pull, like, something. Like, I expected that scene to end a different way.
Well, yeah, I expect her to do something. Like, to demonstrate to the audience, in the beginning of the film, we are told that you are a badass. And then now this isn't where the rubber meets the road now. You have to demonstrate now why you're a badass. And she doesn't. She does the opposite. She's a joke. So it's like, well, I don't care about any of this now.
It's kind of like Kylo. Like, I don't know. I just kind of Kylo Ren. I was like wanting to like, but he just came across as a spoiled child to me.
Yeah, I think a buddy of mine just called him Darth Tantrum. He's ridiculous, you know.
I mean, he's just and I was like, because I don't know, I forget if I talked about it, but I was trying to invent like a better backstory for him.
Yeah.
So my backstory was like that. The New Republic basically, from its inception, had been plagued by civil war, corruption, incompetence, and like maybe like a rise of like organized crime in the vacuum created by the Empire, and that the New Republic government wasn't capable of dealing with widespread societal violence. And he grew up amongst that, kind of like a parallel to Anakin, who developed the same views for similar reasons.
Right.
And he kind of viewed his parents and Luke and their naive belief in a clearly failing system as bad, and he joined the Empire for that reason.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because that would make sense. But like, why did he become evil?
You're already giving it more thought than it really deserves, because you're actually trying to come up with a legitimate mindset for the villain, which I don't think they did, honestly. I think he was supposed to be popcorn. Look, the point is, he dresses in black, he has a red lightsaber, and his hair looks like Anakin's hair. That's all. Look, so you can see. So
you know what the only scene I really liked in the movie was? I guess this isn't really a spoiler because it's kind of in the pre-release, where he's like worshiping Vader's helmet.
Yes, I thought that was a decent scene. Yeah,
that was like my favorite scene, just because it was just so LARPy.
It was pretty damn LARPy. Yeah. but when even in the I will say this: the trailer is I had more fun with the trailer than the movie. I mean, the trailer raised all these connotations. I got chills in the trailer when he does the scene with the helmet.
Yeah.
And
you know what they needed? They needed someone like taller, more masculine looking, and who had a deeper voice.
Right.
Because they just kind of got this guy who's just kind of like weird.
Well, he's too teenage. He's just too teenage angst.
I'm trying to think of who would be better. Tom Hardy, maybe.
I think too many people would denote Tom Hardy because of Bane, and so why does he wear the mask? You know that.
Okay, that's true. No, I'm just trying to think of someone who's like manly or something.
Right.
I just like I don't know. It's I think my friend Abstract really just defined it. He said, "RG, this movie is a product."
Yeah,
that's what you have to, and that's kind of what he calls stuff like that. Like that's what he called like the first Avengers film. He's like, you have to understand this movie is a product. Right. It's not really anything else. You just have to keep that in mind when you're watching it. This is made, And like, don't get me wrong, I understand movies are a money-making business, but you
Right.
don't have to be like that, I guess, methodical in doing it. Like, it doesn't, like, normally there's something more to it. I find there's something, because I watch a lot of movies, you can normally tell when the cast is having fun doing something.
Yeah.
Like, I find there's a certain charm. Like, I found with Revenge of the Sith, I really got the impression the cast was enjoying making the movie.
Sure.
Like, that they're having a good time. In this movie, I didn't get that impression at all.
Yeah.
It just kind of felt like, where's my paycheck?
Right. Right. Yeah. I just people commented that there's good chemistry between the characters. I
What?
didn't think so. Um,
You know what would have made the movie better if Poe was the male lead?
Poe. Yes, yes, and actually,
That guy's actually like a good actor.
right. Well, and that's the thing. Razorfist said that. Other people have said that online. My buddy, who I'm sitting next to in the theater as we saw it, said, "Man, I hope he's the lead. Like, I hope he's, this guy I like watching." And he's not.
I've seen Oscar Isaac in like some other stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he was good in A Most Violent Year. He was in Ex Machina. He was in Drive, I think. Like, he's a good actor. If they really wanted diversity, I think he's like Castizo or something,
Yeah.
or like Hispanic. So he probably would have like been okay. But I didn't get why he couldn't have been the lead. Well, no, I mean, I do know why he couldn't have been the lead, because he's not diversity enough.
Right.
But
This is Star Wars for a new generation, don't you know?
it's the current year.
Right.
But no, like, just one more thing. Like, on Kylo Ren, like, I kind of feel, even if Hayden Christensen was kind of miscast and the writing wasn't the best, I thought they at least gave reasons for why he turned out the way he did.
Right. Yeah, they tried. Yeah.
They at least, like, kind of, like, it wasn't a complete, like, the scene was a little sudden, but they had been leading up to it.
Yeah.
I just think, you know what? They should have just done the Dark Empire plot, brought Ian McDermott out of the old age home or wherever he is, and had him be Claude Palpatine.
That would have been an amazing film.
That, like, it would have been cheesy, but it would have been fun.
Yeah.
Because he kind of is the Star Wars villain. Like, he's not in the movie as the villain. It just doesn't feel like Star Wars.
Right.
Because he was the main villain in like all 6 movies, pretty much.
Yeah, no, and he did a fantastic job. No one's got shit to say. Yeah, you should. I'm okay. I'm gonna link you. I'm gonna link you Razorfist's review after this.
Uh-huh.
You should watch that. And he's a pretty good guy. I like his stuff on gaming.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah. Well, back to Christmas. Because I think I want to start to try and wrap it up here, because we've been going for about an hour.
Yep, sounds good to me.
I hope that anyone that watches this in the Reactosphere, gamer, whoever stumbles upon this, isn't too miffed at our spoiler talk. I do want to have a more serious theological video on the meaning of Christmas and things like that. But this was just a good-natured chat between two guys in the Reactosphere.
Yeah.
So perhaps you and I can do some theology splaining in the future. I'd love to do apologetics with you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But for now, I want to wish everybody Merry Christmas. Hope you guys make it a good one. I hope you guys use it as a time to get together with family and friends and to embrace the reason for the season with all those good Christian values. Hope you guys had fun with the chat. Leave comments about gaming or movies. What do you guys think about those things? Say hi to Argent Templar's channel. Give him a sub. And yeah, anything you want to add?
Nope, that's good.
All right. Well, you guys have yourselves a Merry Christmas, and I'll talk to you all later. And Argent Templar, thanks again for coming out, and I'll hopefully talk to you again soon.
Sure. Always happy to be on.
Awesome. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.